Type 6, this is the core-oriented type, and it's called the loyal skeptic. So this, when I say the core-oriented, it means it's not moving out, oriented out, or in. It sits right at the threshold. So the essence of this part of us, the essence of the type 6, is eternal trust and divine guidance. This is our connection to, if you've ever experienced feeling guided by something deep and true and sacred, feeling like you're on a path that is something to trust, and you're being guided to continue on this path. You don't know where the path is leading. You don't know what is next, but you know you can trust it. This is that taste of the essence of 6. It is when we feel guided divinely, and the way to get to this taste of divine guidance is into ourself. It's into the depth of our deep knowing inside. And the eternal trust is being able to sense, as we experience the essence of the head center sort of stretching out eternally. This eternal seeing is like medicine for the type 6, right? Because they have a lot of issues with trust. We'll get into that next. But there is the medicine for this is being able to sense the part of ourself that is eternal, that has no beginning and no ending, and therefore it cannot be destroyed, it cannot be taken away. And we'll understand that better now when we talk about the personality traits of 6. So the type 6 is one that tends to do more of a projection in its personality, and it's trying to find its way back to essence. It projects the divine guidance, the experience of divine guidance out onto the world. They project it, and they like to, they feel dependent on others. They like to join groups and be a part of groups. And they can be very loyal. So they're often known as the loyalists. And the loyalty is coming from feeling like they need to belong, they need to be a part of. They don't feel like they're going to be okay on their own or standing independently. So they're very loyal as a way of cultivating loyalty back towards them. They have a skeptical nature. I think this is ultimately because they are they're trying to get eternal trust where it does not abide. Like they're trying to experience and be fulfilled by this eternal trust in others and people in the world and human beings who are ultimately flawed. So there is this sort of disconnect for them where they become skeptical of, like, can I trust you? Can I not trust you? Skeptical of whoever they're projecting authority or divine guidance onto. And they also have a preparing nature. So they're disconnected from eternal trust. They're disconnected from where we get divine guidance from. And so they feel this sort of lost, fearful way of being in the world, and they want to prepare for what could go wrong, what's going to happen next, because if I'm not okay unless I'm prepared for something. I don't feel okay. So this is fear expressed as dependence. But when we have reconnected and found our essential nature, the essence of divine guidance, of the inner knowing inside, the type 6 will relax and integrate and shine eternal trust outward. They will have a sense of being eternally guided, and they will stand on their own. They don't need to belong to one group or another. And there's a kind of a courage here in standing on their own. And this video, I'm not saying, as we watch this, I'm not saying that all that eternal trust or the essence of six is about standing for peace and conflict. It's not about that. It's about what she's doing here is standing in her own truth. She's not joining one side or another, and she's standing there in a courageous way, and there's a courage in her eyes, and she's following her internal guidance, which would be very hard for a type 6 stuck in their personality. They would feel like they have to belong to one side or another. So as we watch her in this video, this 30-second video, see if you can imagine what it feels like to stand in her shoes, to be in her perspective. There's a kind of a courage here that is kind of wide open. There's a sense of being connected to something she's guided deeply internally to do. Neither side is telling her to do this. She's going by her own internal side. So she has pulled the projection of her personality. She's pulled that back in, the projection of being guided, of authority into her own self. So she stands in her own authority here. This is someone I feel embodying the essence of six. And the last video, the last slide for our type 6, the essence of six, is this image here. For me, this brings me into the quality of six. When we stand at night, quietly looking, especially if you're out in the country and you can really see the stars, there is a sense that comes over me of like being a part of something very grand and of this sort of intelligence of the universe, that there is something sacred here that we belong to, this eternal expanse of the universe that goes on forever. So as we just quietly watch, it's like being a part of something infinite, eternal. Letting go of any individual story. There's a sense that we are okay, that we exist so much beyond our individual story and all the details of what could go wrong. And so we might find a sense, a taste of eternal trust when our perspective gets really big and wide. And there's other things in nature that bring us here. But there's some nourishment for all of us, not just for the type 6s, in experiencing the expanse of the universe this way, or anything that brings you out of, like gives you a taste of yourself, your eternal being beyond the personality, beyond the story of what you're living right now. That's the essence of type 6.